Hi, this is Katie. All right, I have two things to say before we start this video. First of all, I know. Second of all, yes, I'm inside. I'm in a hotel right now. I know someone who is here. I'm in San Antonio, and I know someone who's here on business and has a hotel, and he has like a pull-out bed couch thing, and he said that I could stay on it for a few days, and I took him up on that offer, and so I'm here. So anyway, today's video, I actually just recorded and edited and didn't like it, so I'm re-recording it right now, hoping that I can like explain what I was trying to explain a little bit better. So today's video is essentially going to be how to tell people that you're going to live in your car. And so I had one person ask me, and then I had another person ask me, and it was essentially, how did you tell your parents that you lived in your car? How did they react, and what advice do you have? And so I just wanna go over this really, really quickly, and it's already like 6:37 on Tuesday, and I really do wanna get this video up very quickly. And so I am not going to like dilly-dally, jibber-jabber as often as I do, hopefully, maybe. Okay, so the first thing that I wanna say when it comes to telling your parents that you're going to move into your car or that you're going to live in your car and travel, first of all, when I told my parents, I don't really exactly remember their reaction because I did it kind of gradually. I slept in my car a few times here or there about 5 or 6 years ago, and then I gradually was doing it more and more often, and I think they just kind of got used to it. I know that my mom doesn't like it very much. She still does not like it very much, and she didn't 5 or 6 years ago, but my dad is a little less vocal about his opinions about this kind of stuff, at least when it comes to like my life and my decisions. I know that they care, and I know that they love me, they trust me, they support me, they accept my decisions even though they might not understand them. And so nowadays, like, they're just kind of used to it. And so I don't exactly remember how they reacted when I first told them, but I still have a little bit of advice if you are nervous to tell your parents or your friends or people that you meet or things like that. So first of all, my advice would be to go to your parents vulnerably. Vulnerably, is that a word? Be vulnerable when you're talking about this, and do everything in your power to make them understand that this is your choice. And obviously it's not a choice for everyone. Some people have to live in their car, but this is more advice for people who want to live in their car and want to travel and want to do the road trip thing and live that lifestyle for a little while, whether it's a week or 4 years. This is kind of advice for that group of people. So first things first, be vulnerable, be open. Let them know that this is your choice, that this is going to be good for you, that this is what you want to be doing, that is going to help you grow, learn, and change, that it's part of your goal. Maybe it is your goal. Maybe this has been your goal for 10 years and that you're finally able and willing and ready to do it. And so if you're worried that your parents are gonna react negatively, going to them with like a vulnerable heart and being like, you know what guys, I have something to talk to you guys about. It's really important to me and I'm so excited about it, and I hope that you accept my decision. I think that that would be better than arguing with them about it or just being like, hey, I'm gonna live in my car, bye, and maybe not explaining it. Because certain people, again, they might immediately be like, oh, that's awesome, good for you. But they also might be like confused or worried. They'll probably be worried regardless if they're excited or not for you. They probably won't understand, but they don't have to understand for them to accept it. Those are different things. Essentially, just be as open and honest as you want to be and as you can with them, and make it clear that this is your choice, that this is like something that you're excited to do, that this is your goal, that this is what you think is best for you right now. It might help your parents understand, again, if you're worried. It might help them understand if you have like a little bit of a game plan, if you maybe tell them where you're gonna go, or if you kind of tell them, well, I've watched a lot of videos about how to sleep in my car, and I already got a good sleeping bag, and I already know that I'm gonna sleep in the back seat like this way, and I already know where I'm gonna be sleeping. I'm gonna be sleeping at truck stops and Walmarts and all this kind of stuff. If you explain it to them in a way that you kind of have a little bit of a plan. You guys know that I'm not like a big planner, but there's certain things that I need to know in order to do what I'm doing. And especially if you're in your like late teens or early 20s or even mid 20s doing this kind of thing, and your parents are still kind of guiding you in a certain way, even if you're older and your parents are still kind of guiding you and you really do worry about their opinion and care about their opinion a lot, the more they know, hopefully and probably, the more they'll be able to accept it and even maybe understand it. So again, if you tell them, this is kind of my game plan, this is what I've been doing to prepare for it, and or this is what I think I'm gonna be doing, this is how I'm gonna stay safe, things like that, it really might help them. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is your tone. If you go into it saying like, oh, I have something to tell you, but like, I'm kind of scared to tell you, and like, I'm gonna live in my car, and I you know, like if you have that tone of voice, it's much more likely, in my opinion, that they are going to try to talk you out of it, that they are not going to think that you're prepared, that they're not gonna think that this is actually what you want to do. If you come into it with like a, yeah, this is like what I wanna do, but like I know that it's kind of scary and I know that you might not like it. If you come into it kind of weak like that and kind of almost acting like you're still questioning yourself, they are just less likely to accept it. They're definitely less likely to understand it, and they're less likely to feel okay with your decision. But if you go into it with like, you guys, I'm so excited and I really want to tell you guys something, so can you please, like, can we have a little conversation right now? I'm so excited. I've had this goal to sleep in my car for a really long time and travel, and I've finally figured out how to do it, and I just want to talk to you guys about it. If you have that kind of like excitement tone, that you like sound like you know what you're talking about, and you sound like you have an idea of how you're gonna do it and a plan, or at least just you know what you're doing, you've done your research, they again just are a little bit more likely, in my opinion, they are more likely to accept it and to be like, you know what, she has thought this out, or he has thought this out. This is actually what they want to be doing. And so your tone of voice really, really matters in this case. And kind of the last thing that I want to say is, honestly, hopefully, if you know that it's what's best for you, that it's gonna help you grow, learn, and change, that it's part of your goal, or it is your goal, and that it's not going against what you think God wants for you, and if it's not hurting anyone, then do it. Just do it. And so worrying about other people's opinions about it, there are obviously exceptions to this, but generally worrying about other people's opinions is not going to help you. You need to be like really, really strong-willed with this kind of thing, because it's not common. There are not many people who live in their car and travel by choice. It's just not a very common thing. And so most people, when they hear it for the first time, or if you're just deciding to do it right now, or if you've been doing it for a while but you want to tell certain people that you've never told before, or that you're meeting new people that don't know yet, it's a different thing. They probably have never heard of people doing it before. They probably don't know anyone who's ever done it before. And so it's probably gonna sound dangerous or dumb, or like you're being lazy, or like you're giving up your responsibilities, or like you don't know what you're talking about, or like you don't know what you're doing. Especially if you come at it with like the, oh, well, yeah, this is what I'm doing, you know? Again, with the tone, if you're like really excited and like very self-aware and very, yes, this is exactly what I'm doing, they're a little bit more likely to accept it. But just on top of all of that, it kind of doesn't matter what these people think. And that's kind of how I go into these things. I am very like okay with being vulnerable. I'm totally open. Obviously, you guys know I'm open to my family, open to my friends, I'm open to you guys, and I don't know most of you guys. And so I just naturally can talk about things, and especially when I'm sure of myself about certain things. Like, I love that I live in my car and I get to travel. I love it. And there's certain people who think that it's dumb, or certain people who think that I'm homeless. And I don't consider myself homeless. I live in my car. And there are certain people who just like don't really understand. They don't agree. They think that, you know, that again, you're being lazy, or you're running away from your responsibilities, or you don't know what you're doing, or this is just a phase, or whatever. When in reality, this is exactly what I want to be doing. This is what I love doing right now. It could change in 3 weeks, but that doesn't matter. I love what I'm doing right now. And so when you are so sure of yourself, it shouldn't, and I hate the word shouldn't, but it might not, if you're that sure of yourself, it might not matter as much what other people are thinking, or what other people's opinions are about what you're doing. And so that's kind of the stage that I'm at, but I've been doing it for a while. And I know that it's a little bit harder to be so sure of yourself when you're just starting out. But if it's really, again, if it's your goal, if it's what you want to be doing, and if you really know that this is what's best for you, other people's opinions probably won't matter that much to you. You might tell your parents and they might be like, you know what, I don't really like that you're doing that. That's not, we don't really understand what you're doing. And you don't need to be like jerky about it. You don't have to be like, well, this is just what I'm doing. I don't care what you think. That's not what I'm saying at all. If you're just so sure of yourself, you can be like, okay, I understand. Let's talk about it more. I want to get to the point where you accept what I'm doing, because this is really what I want to be doing, and you're my parents or you're my friends, and I want you to accept it. And I want you to at least just kind of be on board with, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing it whether you're on board or not. And so it would just be easier for all of us if you were on board. The opinions of others matter less when you are so sure about your decision and so sure about your actions and your opinions and your thoughts. And so if someone's trying to beat you down or tell you that that's stupid, or that that's unsafe, or things that you know are untrue about your decisions, don't let them. Don't let them. This is your life. Again, if it's not hurting anyone else, if it's not going against God, if it's not going against your goals, you guys already know kind of my whole spiel on that. It's your decision and it's your life. Especially if you're like a single person, it's what you want to be doing, and that's what matters most. And so these people, again, like obviously most people do care about what their family thinks. Maybe not to the effect that you wouldn't do something if your family didn't like it, but you still want them to accept you. And so you might have to explain a lot. You might have to have multiple conversations. It might take them a while. It might take them until after you've been doing it for 3 years for them to really accept it. To be like, yep, that's who they are, and that's what they're gonna be doing. And you know, I don't really understand it, and I might not wanna do it, but that's what they wanna do, and that's that. And so that's kind of the hope for the people who might not understand right off the bat, is that just they accept it and they just know that it's what you're gonna be doing anyway, and they don't bash you about it and they don't try to talk you out of it. But there are gonna be a bunch of people who are like, oh, that's so cool, that's so awesome that you do that, and wanna ask you questions about it and probably tell you that they're jealous of you and all that kind of stuff. And so it's not just a definite that your parents and that your family are gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But it's definitely more probable that your parents aren't really going to understand it right off the bat. But again, if you're open and vulnerable with them, and if you really make it clear that you've thought it out, that this is what you wanna be doing, and that you know that this is what's best for you, hopefully, since they love you and they want what's best for you as well, they will just accept it and maybe even hopefully one day understand it and be proud of you for it. And so yeah, that's kind of all the advice I have here. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If anyone watching this video has experience telling their parents that they live in their car, that they sleep in their car, they go on road trips, that they travel, things like that, talk about it in the comments and let other people know who maybe haven't told their parents yet, or maybe haven't moved into their car yet. Maybe the people who've already done it can help the people who haven't done it yet. So if you guys want to talk about it in the comments, that would be awesome. You guys know I want this to be a community, and so you guys like talk to each other. That would be so cool. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I'm putting out videos Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And that's it. I love you. Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.